our VS Code hint, tip, and trick of the week is the MySQL Shell extension for VS Code. This is crazy to me. It's just one of those where you're like, you look at the demos they have and you're like, is this really a text editor anymore? So this is an extension that you can run a MySQL Shell, which if you've ever ran that on like your terminal, you can run a query and get out the data, and it's fine. It's it's a terminal ASCII based stuff. Well, when you use this shell in VS Code, you get syntax highlighting on the SQL query. You get a nice table out that gives you how many records and how long it took. You can run TypeScript with it to like run the SQL and then pass it to a pie graph. Mm-hmm. Like it's at one point I'm just like, we talked earlier about paid extensions, and it just feels like these are going to get big enough that we'll kind of expect to. I mean, like you think of the best database managers right now, like you pay hundreds of dollars for some of them, the Navicat suite or the one from the JetBrains people, DataGrip. So like, I can imagine a world where we get neat things like this in VS Code, but you got to shell out some money for it. Not this one, to be clear. This is free, made by Oracle. Yeah, it's impressive. I don't think I'll use it, but it is impressive. I guess I'm much more tied to my database tool that I can use with 12 to 14 different backends.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing too is I like having my stuff in separate windows, and you can pull stuff out, but I like having separate windows, separate screens. But it's pretty slick for if you need just to grab something real quick or whatever. There's a lot of cool stuff in there. But you're right, though. They're definitely getting more and more powerful, and I'm kind of curious where it's going to go. You're right, though. It might just be basically a paid extension plugin for VS Code in the future instead of having their own apps.
It's interesting, at least this is just me talking right now, that one of the huge things I loved about VS Code when it came out was I had the terminal right there, right? I didn't have to switch back and forth. And the interesting thing for me is that hasn't really applied to everything else. I don't want my database in there. I still use an external Git program if I use one. Like all these other things, I'm like, nah, that's fine. I just wanted the terminal. Yeah. So everybody else, your mileage may vary, but I guess I just find that kind of amusing, is how much can we stick inside the text editor, and do you like it or not?
Yep. So, give us some feedback. Let us know what you think. I mean, I use the VS Code Git stuff a little bit. I love GitLens in there, and it does some stuff. But, you're right. A lot of times I'll jump out to my other Git tool. But, yeah. I don't know. There's definitely a line I draw. And the thing is, too, though, if I'm on one screen, if I'm on my laptop and laptop only, then I'm more likely to just do stuff in there, so I don't have to leave the window as much. But anyways. Okay, well, that's your VS Code hint, tip, and trick of the week. That was our VS Code hint, tip, and trick of the week, brought to you by Modernize or Die podcast, CFML News Edition, proudly sponsored by Order Solutions. You can see the new episodes every week on cfmlnews.modernizeordie.io or on the Order Solutions YouTube channel.